Alright guys, so this tutorial gonna be a short one. We're gonna discuss classes and how to apply methods from a class. So right click on your solution, lab 1 for in my case, and then you click on add, and then you click on new item, from which you will find class. You name your class whatever you want. I'm gonna leave mine to be class 1. Inside your class 1 you declare some properties. So I'm gonna explain what properties are in a later video if possible. So I declare some numbers, num1, and it says no need to initialize them this time. We get the value, of the property, and we set it as well, and we'll declare a similar num2. Now declare some methods, at least one method. Public int, the return type will be int, and the name will be sum. mm, Write a round bracket followed by a curly bracket, pairs of curly bracket followed by round bracket, and also a naming convention. uh, Methods always need to start by a capital letter. So let's go on. We declare some parameters, int a, int b, um, return. Since it is a parameterized uh, method, we will return a value, return a plus b. We will find the sum of the value a and b. And now let's go to our form1.cs. Here in the initialize method, I am going to input to instantiate the class. So class 1, and we'll create an object of that class. Class 1 obj class, obj, uh, what can we call it, obj test. Obj test is equal to new class 1. Now all of the objects of the class, the methods, the variables from this class, they are all in the object test. So to access it, we can just click on, and we can just write obj test dot sum. We got everything, sum, and then we just write some values. Let's say int a is equal to 1, int b is equal to 2. It's not necessary to be a or b. We can have any name, int, say for example number 1 and number 2. We can just write this here, number 1 followed by number 2, a semicolon, and we got the sum of these values. We can display it in a message box. We do message box dot show this method the toString. We haven't yet discussed conversion types, but we will do that in our next tutorial. Passing values and converting values, this is very necessary as well. So we got an error num1 indexer. Yes, uh, here it's from another class, which is not necessary, so I can delete it. I can delete the other one as well. Now let's try. Okay, we got the number 3, which is the right number. 1 plus 2 is equal to 3, and yet we have done it in perhaps less amount of code in some way. If there were a thousand of numbers to count, or 4 or 5 methods, we didn't found the need to declare the method in the same form one. Thus we decreased the amount of codes written in the form one. Now these values, they didn't appear. Let's see why. I turned the access modifiers to public because initially C# changes all access modifiers to private automatically. Now let's try to access this num1 and num2 object. Num1, and you see this appears now in the uh, IntelliSense. We can directly initialize the values from the IntelliSense, from the form 1 now, without even declaring them in the form. Now let's run the method. What we did here is that we initialize these variables num1 and num2 from the class, from the form1.cs. We declared them in the class, but we initialize them here. What's good about it is, for example, you can declare different type of objects. For example, each object can have a specific set of numbers. For example, it can be this object, and then we would let me write it. And then you would directly you can directly test for that object's value. This can be very useful when working with specific conditions, such as working with a database, which we will see in our MVC tutorials later. So thanks for watching. Please let me know if you have any questions in the comments. I will try to reply as soon as possible.